Hey folks, Eric here, the Whatever Guy, because it really is whatever for me. And do you folks want to know about this new legal filing process that seeks to remove the AMCC from the licensing process? You guys stick around, man, and we'll talk about that. As you guys know me, my name's Eric. I'm the Whatever Guy, and I do shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world of Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp cannabis, just what's going on around. And today, man, sitting here bullshitting around talking about this AMCC, the Alabama debacle that is the AMCC, the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission. We have allowed a lot of things coming forward. I've told people many, many times, a long time ago, that they were seeking to find a way to disband the AMCC, and nobody in this industry wants to listen to anything I got to say. I've told you from the very beginning that they were going to void these licenses again, and I've also told you that they were moving towards a position where they were going to disband the AMCC. They want to take the AMCC out of the decision-making process because it has been screwed up from the very beginning. We have had legal marijuana, or medical marijuana, in the state of Alabama since 2021, and we don't have any products on the shelf. Like, we don't have anything going on. We have a lot of crap going on with the AMCC. We have a lot of backdoor stuff happening. A lot of people that were given basically allowed to do certain things that other companies weren't allowed to do. I apologize, but this is crazy process right here, and it doesn't seem like we're going to move forward in any time soon. But as it stands right now, we have two things going on. We have the legislature moving through with a bill that would essentially move the AMCC, remove the AMCC out of the decision-making process. We have a doctor that was on the AMCC board that has basically resigned because of this whole process, and now we have this legal filing by Alabama Always that seeks to remove the AMCC from the decision-making process, and they want to put a special administrator or a special person in charge of deciding who gets these licenses. So as we move forward, so we're going to take a look at this article over here and see what they have to say about it. And you guys, this is crazy right here because, like I said, we're not going to see any resolution on this anytime soon. They are still fighting this all the way through. But like I said, everything is guiding towards disbanding the AMCC. They want to get those guys out of the way. They want to get a fair resolution on the other side. I agree. I agree that if the AMCC needs to be disbanded. They should have just followed the fucking rules that the legislator laid out from the beginning. If they had to follow those rules and did everything the way they were supposed to, we wouldn't be in the position we're in. But because we have this screwed up the way it is, now we're falling forward into a position where nobody in the state of Alabama can get their hands on medical marijuana. The new legal filing seeks to remove Cannabis Commission from the licensing process. Let's scoot down. This is by Josh Moon, and this was on, I believe, the 15th of April. In a lengthy new filing, a plaintiff in one of the many lawsuits filed against the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission is asking the court to appoint a special master to determine which applicant companies comply with the statutory regulations of the state's medical cannabis laws, a move that would essentially remove the AMCC from the licensing process. Guys, like I said before, if the AMCC had to just follow the law and the rules and adhere to those rules along the way, we wouldn't be in the position we're in. But because we are, now we've got this legislation moving forward, and now we've got this bill to talk about. The new filing from Alabama Always, which filed the original litigation against the AMCC, lays out in stark detail the many failings of the commission and details the instances in which the AMCC has subverted the requirements placed in the law for cannabis companies. It comes as the Alabama legislature is considering a pair of bills from Senator Tim Melson that would essentially rework the licensure process, removing the AMCC from many of those decisions. According to attorney Will Somerville, who has led the plaintiff's attorneys throughout the litigation, Monday's filing would serve as a sort of backstop should the legislature fail to act, and would also make it clear that the plaintiffs are seeking to get the AMCC out of the process. Melson's bill, in its current form, stops just short of that, allowing the AMCC to be involved in the third step of the three-step process. I've heard that there's an intent to get the AMCC out of the bill, Somerville said. If that's the case, we'd be willing to work with that. We need to make sure that the licensure process happens in the public eye, so the kind of shenanigans that the AMCC has been involved in can't happen again. Asked why it was so important to have the commission removed entirely, Somerville said that simply look at their history, much of which he documented in his filing on Monday. They've done such a bad job, Somerville said flatly. They've never followed the law a single time. They keep violating the Open Meetings Act and the Alabama Administrative Procedures Act. They're not going to do their job no matter how many chances they get. Somerville said that the plaintiffs in the case are not trying to jump in front of the legislature. Instead, their intent with Monday's filing is to make clear that they're seeking only to open the process to public scrutiny and to follow the original laws written by the legislature. We don't know that Melson's legislation is going to pass. If it doesn't, we need to make sure we're not stuck with what we have. The law passed was a good law. had some really great substantive aspects to it. I can't think of a single thing that I would criticize in that law. We just want to make sure that it's followed. It's unclear in Montgomery County Circuit Court, Judge James Anderson, who is presiding over the collection of lawsuits against the AMCC, would be open to appointing the special master, but there is reason to believe that he might. Anderson has shown increasing frustration with the commission's inability to follow the basic laws and the directives from the bench. Last week, Anderson granted Alabama Always petition for judicial review, which essentially notifies the AMCC that the court will allow legal action to move forward that questions its awarding of the licenses on December 12th. He also has previously ruled that the plaintiffs in the lawsuits have a right to take depositions of AMCC commissioners and staff in order to determine why specific decisions were made, if anything improper occurred. Anderson isn't alone. Apparently, in his wariness of the AMC's failures, after more than 3 years and $12 million in taxpayer funds and without a single prescription filled, the legislature is also tired of the problems. Melson's recent litigation came close to removing the AMCC from the licensing process. In a 3-step process, it placed a panel created by the Alabama Securities Exchange Commission in charge of determining the applicant's basic requirements of the law if they held their capabilities to distribute products in a timely manner. Only after those 2 steps were satisfied could an applicant move forward on to be judged by the AMCC in on predetermined criteria. The plaintiffs, however, believe even that loan responsibility is too much, and Alabama Always latest filing spells out exactly why. For example, the filing notes that the AMCC, instead of simply mandating the applicants meet statutory requirements, such as obtaining a $2 million performance bond, ensuring that ownership had the required growing experience, securing a facility for production and other requirements, the commission instead created a 48-page scoring system that awarded points for non-requirements, but not for some statutory requirements. The scoring system is what upended the AMCC's initial awarding of licenses last June after Alabama Always filed suit challenging the process and the odds scoring. In addition, the arbitrary scoring system, the way the scores were assigned, were also apparently arbitrary and often nonsensical. In one instance, an applicant for integrated license was given a top score by one grader for its facility security plan, but was assigned one of the worst recorded scores by another grader for the same plan. The secretive nature of the licensing process has also caused issues, as it failed to meet the requirements of the Alabama Opens Meetings Act and the Alabama Administrative Procedures Act. The 48-page scoring system wasn't disclosed to applicants beforehand, as required by the AAPA. And then the commission utilized an executive session during an official meeting to discuss, vote on, and award licenses based on that scoring, a clear violation of the AOMA. Guys, the AMCC has basically screwed this up in the very beginning. All they had to do was basically follow the legislature, follow the law down to the T, and they could have walked out of this, and we could have all been moved on. You could have all been smoking marijuana, right? Or not smoking marijuana, but you could have all been adhering to medical marijuana dispensaries in the state at this time. But we're not anywhere close to that. Like they're not even breaking ground on any of the dispensaries or anything that's going on right now, simply because the AMCC and those people that are up there can't get their shit straight. So as it moves forward, guys, we have they have 2 bills in the legislature right now. Both are moving forward at a very fast pace. Both of those would essentially remove the AMCC. And as a backstop, we have this litigation right here from Judge Anderson, going to Judge Anderson, that they are basically asking for the election of a special master that would basically take the decision making out of the AMCC's hands, which is something that I think needs to happen. There's no way you can sit here and tell me that Trulieve was the only medical, the only minority owned license in the state of Alabama that we could give. Like, you're telling me that Trulieve, a multi-state operator, was a minority, like is our only minority owned integrated license in the state of Alabama. Come on, guys. Like, I've already done articles many times on this channel about other people that were well qualified to take that integrated license, that were people from Alabama, minority people from Alabama that could have got those licenses. All right, folks, whatever, guys, signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Love you. See you.